What up, my lord?
Brother J,
Peace, God.
excellent. What's good?
I'm good, my lord. How you, Tamal? Good to see you, my lord.
Same.
I went to the wrong thing. I went to the carrying the culture, trying to figure it out, not paying attention to the 5E consultant. My
Oh
bad.
no, it's all good. I mean, that's the page I want to get back going as far as the lives go. I'm still blocked because Instagram I'm always in the doghouse with them. So yeah, salute to everybody joining. Would you mind adjusting your camera or phone a little bit just so we can see your whole head?
Yeah, man, no doubt.
Thank you. Yeah, so everybody, this is episode 7, Constant Elevation with Brother J, myself, Tamal, and it's been a great run so far. We've had some really good builds, and they're all on our YouTube channel, and yeah, it's been really dope, and I'm really excited about this one. We're going to be discussing it. Everybody's going to be discussing mental health, physical health, in the hip hop game in particular, but just in general. We're going to be looking at why it seems like it's an epidemic that we don't have the greatest health in our hip hop culture, and then some practical things that we can do to work on that. That sound right?
Yeah, man. That's what's up.
Cool. So
that's what's up.
What we'll do is, as usual, I don't have another show until 10, so if we need to go over 9, that's fine, but we might have to stop. And you guys, if you have questions, we're not really taking them, but you can, if you do want to put them in there, you can put them in the questions feature. If it kind of pertains to what we're talking about, we might get to it. But this is something that, is pretty structured conversation here, but you're welcome to use the questions feature below. And always, as I say, any fuck shit in here, man, send your ass home because we don't have time for that. So crazy, wild comments, it's just can't even really address that shit. We gotta go. So this guy always put that disclaimer out there. So
yeah, it's nutty out here, brother.
It is.
I tell you,
every day, right?
Every fucking day.
Every day.
It's nutty.
So
nutty.
So here's how I'm gonna try to structure this. So I figure I'll start. I'll share I'll share an issue or whatever. We can build on it, and if you got an issue as well. So we kind of look at some of the problems, some of the the obvious problems in the game, and then also try to look at solutions and practical day-to-day things like something you can do today, tomorrow. You know what I mean? Immediately. So
yeah, because I love the topic because as we was texting and building, I didn't know that you were a counselor at a time frame.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. And I host a artist program, an artist detox in California. We've been doing it for 7 years, and we have people come in, and you see the different mentalities. Just even when you don't put yourself in the position of a promoter, you're still the counselor of the camp. You're still the counselor of what's going on. So you get to weigh different personalities. So as I was telling people who were looking at the post, I didn't want to make it like I'm a head doctor. You know what I'm saying? I was like a non-clinical view of what's happening. I'm not going to be, calling the book terminologies, but we're just going to build around what the tendencies are that lead to, a fucked up mentality in the game. And I was just speaking from a hip hop perspective on how it affects our music and how it affects artistry from my side. So I just wanted to be clear of what was happening to the audience and whatnot. People see mental health. I'm not a mental doctor,
right.
But I deal with my people. And when we've been programmed like we have, what I'm saying, you get to see, slave tendencies in people and shit, and this becomes, the problems and whatnot. So, that's why I'll be building my notes and stuff from as well.
Right. No, thank you for clarifying. And I'll put that out there too. I am in no way a doctor or a shrink or anything like that. I've just had some ton of experience as far as in a lot of ways being de facto person in my house of worship at times, at work, different situations. And I've been trained in some things, nonviolent communication and stuff. You wouldn't know it based on my posts, but I've been trained. And so, yeah, these are just, we're going to be sharing just, a lot of life experiences and things that we've, picked up along the way, that have helped us. We're not trying telling anybody how to live your life or whatever. But I'm gonna, you know, I'm sure we're both gonna share things that, you know, that have helped us over the years, and you know, and I got some things that just keep me from like killing somebody. So I want to share those things, you know. So this is a serious
Yeah.
thing, and as somebody said, you know, like, you know, we'll get into it. The mental health thing is something that is it's a not an easy thing to talk about, especially with people of color and all that stuff too. So we're gonna get into all of that. So I'll set it off with you know, like I said, some of the issues that we're seeing. Again, we're focusing this on, you know, hip hop for the most part, but it's obviously affects every walk of life. So I was gonna say, man, first and foremost, the most glaring thing is like the typical hip hop, rap, b-boy, DJ, whatever lifestyle does not lend itself to positive and consistent health and eating habits, diet habits, sleeping habits, right? So I'm just gonna say right off the bat, like, you know, shows are at 2 or 3 in the morning. You're in the studio working, like, so to me, I'm just gonna say right off the bat that the whole lifestyle itself isn't one that's conducive to, you know, I think that's an issue in of itself that needs to be looked at.
Well, you kind of prepare for that, you know, to build on your point. You know, before you go out on the road, you kind of meal prep what's happening, because, you know, every day on the road can be your birthday. You know what I'm saying? You're the person of the hour. Your whole crew shares that as well. So y'all got, you know, what you want for food, this, that, and the other. You can order up the ass. You living like a king. Now, if you got a 20, 30-day tour, you're kind of sick in the mind to think that you're going to be eating like a king every day, come back 50 pounds, 100 pounds over fucking weight. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a regiment, a meal prep. When you go out, that saves money as well. Stopping at Denny's, the only spot that's open at 2 o'clock when you get out of the club. You know what I'm saying? You're most likely going to be performing in an adult arena. You know what I'm saying? So you get that slob type of mentality every night. You know, if you don't have a discipline, if you're traveling on the road, you have your own vehicle instead of a tour bus. So even if you do, you know, everybody's stopping after every hour. You got a 5-hour drive, get out, stretch, do some push-ups. You know, something like that keeps the body in motion. You know, they don't. The key thing that we're talking about here is a discipline. You know, when you hit the road, you know what I'm saying? You got to have a discipline, and nothing can crack that. Everybody down at a certain time. If you got a 5 a.m. Tour bus and you just got out 1:30 in the morning, there's no question. There's no after party. There's no extra. You gotta have things that the discipline is solid. So I mean, that was one of my points as well. I'm glad you were building on that.
Yeah, let's stay there, because I also brought up discipline too later, because if you don't have it already while you're going out, before you're going out,
right,
you're not going to develop it all of a sudden on tour. So that starts beforehand too. But yeah, to look at some of the other points along the same line, right? So talk about the traveling, the late shows, the diet. Let's look at that, man, because right, you're always on the road. Even just how we say we're going to eat something sometimes. We say, what? I'm going to go grab something to eat. Like, the mentality is just quick, right? So how do you, I mean, I'll ask you a question. Let's say you're in a group. And how would you navigate being in a group and everyone wants to eat such and such, and you know, like how would you have that discipline in a group? Have you had to deal with that at all? Were you guys all on the same page?
Yeah, I mean, the way that I deal with it is the first, say I did a 20-city run, and I'm choosing to drive. I have 4 men with me, okay, including myself. So it'll be 3 other drivers and myself. Everybody has a dual hat. The first thing is no meat for the first 2 weeks of the run. Because on a 20-city run, you're basically out there for a month, between dates, off dates, things of that level. So the first 2 weeks of the run, no meat. Because what happens with meat in the body is that you do this at the wheel. You're nodding. So no heavy excess things. Now, this is something that I make mandatory for what we're doing. It's not like I'm telling you to become a vegan. After 2 weeks, you can have 50 hot dog steaks, whatever it may be. I need my drivers to be light. because my equipment and my life is at risk. If I take a power nap in the vehicle, you know what I'm saying? I shouldn't feel like, you know, damn, we just had steak and eggs at the fucking, you know, whatever the hell the fast food spot was popping. So we don't have those problems for the first. So that's why I said that meal prep comes in handy, because if you are packed whatever your meals are going to be, you don't have to spend your money that you're making every night on foolishness or depend on whatever the promoter is getting, because the promoter is not going to get top notch or anything. They're going to get basic shit. So, you know, if you're saying no meat, then they'll just find the little trays. If you pick the little tomatoes and shit like that, it's not a meal. You feel what I'm saying? So you got to come prepared on your own. So how I deal with that, I cut that out for the first 2 weeks. So that way people are getting a total alkaline situation sparked up. Because remember, when you get off the thing, you know, my shit is I got interviews, I got all kind of other shit going on. But the people that are there, you got to make sure the equipment is right. Get in touch with the sound people. You got to have a clear mind, and you got to get your rest on top of it. Because if you're out of it, you knock out clock off. So that's how important that eating situation is. And I usually prepare them before we leave. So you already had a week out of doing that, and you're not just cold turkey like, damn, I can't eat meat. You know, I'm not the burgermeister. I'm just basically trying to ensure your lifestyle, you know, and then cats come off the road, lose weight. You know what I'm saying? Cats come off the road better than they left. You know what I'm saying? I remember my DJ, Fat Jack, coming with me, man. He was, shit, Fat was about 250. Came back a good 220, 210.
The nice, Brother J tight diet. The Black Rock diet.
Yeah, but it becomes their lifestyle. It becomes their lifestyle. You know, we out for a long period of time. You know, you don't want to deal with the ups and downs of heavy foods in your shit, man. You know, and the reason I say meat more so is because that's what's more available when you hit the road. You know, cats won't have vegetables, but they'll have a 15-wing chicken basket. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And the 5-piece burger special at Jack in the Box is some stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? But you can't say, yo, man, let me just get, you know, some chopped veggie or you know, or anything outside of, you know, some mashed potatoes and some vegetables, anything. Right. You know, you can get creative, but if you prep your own meal, you don't have to sweat that. You know what I'm saying? Keep everything cool, refrigerated, and you know, and just make it happen. It's not a difficult thing. People are learning now, you know, as they're getting older. You know, you wait for the white coats to tell you, yo, you should stop eating this, your blood pressure's high, stop eating such and such and such. Do it for yourself without somebody having to suggest it when you get to a sick time frame. Right. But on the road, you should always want to be as light as possible, especially if you have multiple dates. You're dealing with hot lights on stage. You're dealing with constant movement all the time, shifting from one place to the other. You're living out of your bag. You're living in, you know, you sleeping in a seat like this until you get to your place of comfort, man. You gotta really have as much of your body at command as possible, man.
Let's talk.
You know, in my mental. No, yes, sir.
Exactly. I was going to. You mentioned it briefly, so let's go into it. Let's talk about sleep, because here's the thing. You know, I see memes and posts, and everyone's talking about grinding and hustling, and team no sleep, and I don't sleep, and if you're sleeping, you ain't working. You know, the body needs sleep. The body is a vehicle, and sleep helps prepare the vehicle. I mean, like, everyone's body is different, so it's not like I'm going to say everyone needs 8 to 10 hours of sleep. I can function on 6 hours of sleep, but I need that 6. Like,
right.
Like I mean, I get it. And sometimes we got to push, but I'm just going to put this out there. This is just me. You may disagree, but my opinion is like, yes, push. I get it. We got to push for our dreams, our goals, grind. Rest is very important. And yes, we need to get that. So let's get off the soapbox.
You know what disturbs that? The alcohol. All right. And that's the one thing that cats don't want to admit on the road. And especially for those who smoke. You know what I'm saying? And smoke and drink. So, you know, you have to hydrate your body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going to have a drink night out, get yourself some milk thistle or something, you know, to flush your body out, drink lots of water, and make sure you lay down. You know what I'm saying? Because if you up looking for trouble, you're burning time, you're burning hours, the deadline of, you know, the bus day that you got to get on the bus the next day, you're going to be shit. you're going to be worthless. If you're a person carrying equipment, if you're personal security, if you're anything outside of the artist, and this is really for the whole staff, not just the performers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The whole staff has to be on point. Even if you're doing lighting or whatever the case may be, you may feel like your job is small, but you can't party every night. You can't do the Viking every night. You know what I'm saying? You got to have it where you see on your map, if you want to have a good time, you are out there. It is celebrating your production. On the off days where you got those little 2 days off or whatever case may be, that's your plan to get it off. But every night, you wear yourself out, especially if you have longevity in your career where you're adding that alcohol and that non-rest, not eating right. You know what I'm saying? You leaving yourself subject to whatever the town has, you know what I'm saying, has going on. You should really be self-sufficient on the road and make sure that you know, and then how can you be security-minded if you're tired? You know what I'm saying? You carrying all your bundles from when you did your last show, you're buying gifts, you're doing all kind of shit. You know, how you be off point, you know, half cocked, and you in somebody else's town. You know, that don't make sense. That's kind of crazy.
Right. And the other thing too, man, is, and this isn't just applicable for being on tour. This is about, like, you know, being in the studio. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we're all guilty of it. A lot of us, I mean, just as far as hip hop work tends to be at 3, 4 in the morning a lot of times. And I remember when I was with a radio station and my partner with the station, he'd want to do business at, like, he'd want to have like an important Zoom call at midnight, 1 o'clock. And I'm like, yo, I can't do that no more, man. I'm like,
you
know what I'm saying? I can't talk about important shit at 1 a.m. anymore. Like, not unless it's.
But how can you do a studio session at 3 or 4 in the morning?
Right.
I have absolutely no energy in my vocal. You think about how your voice sounds at that time of the morning. What are you accomplishing? Unless you're really doing mixes or going over music or whatever case may be, you really just bullshit.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. And of course, it's gonna happen, but I'm just saying, like, again, the scheduling, the schedules we keep, right? Because then, what's open, right? So let's look at somebody's MC schedule, because I know plenty of them. Bro, I was in the studio all night. So when's the last time you ate? Oh, bro, I ain't ate since yesterday. I had like Subway or something. Or what, you know, like Mickey D's like 18 hours ago. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Word.
And
Word.
Like, come on,
Word.
man. Like, that can't work. Yeah, maybe when I was 20, I could do all that stuff. But like you said, if you have some longevity in your career, that's gonna catch up with you real quick.
Correct, my lord. And you don't leave yourself, again, in the studio, you don't leave yourself to the menu of who's delivering to your door. If you go to work, you bring a lunch. So why don't you go to the studio with lunch and whatever you need to sustain while you're there? You understand what I'm saying? So you can look out for your health. You don't have to be subject to getting crap from, you know, whatever kind of burger master or whatever the hell is going on. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to even be dealing with that.
Right.
You could be in there like, boom, I'm here. And when my time comes, I'm not trying to hang around. I'm not trying to do 50 calls. I'm not trying to boom on the shorties. I'm trying to get my work done, get home, get my rest, because I treat myself as a professional artist. If you're not a professional artist, feel free to drink and black out, fall out on the board. Nobody gives a fuck. But if you want longevity, you're going to have to sustain yourself in a different fashion, or you will burn out, my lord.
You have to. I mean, you have to, because it'll catch up to you. We're seeing it with so many artists who you know, we're just seeing it. I mean, we know what it is, and too many of our artists are passing away, you know, way too early, man. And it's very preventable.
Yeah.
You know, like, so. So did you have anything else on, like, lifestyle? I had some more points that would kind of contribute into this stuff, but did you have anything on lifestyle? Did you have something you want to add on to that? Or
the eating was on my list, and we covered that. That was a big thing. Lifestyle, I had hygiene check, and also a dress code. Not a dress code like everybody has to dress the same. But, you know, if you're making money, you know, you should be living it. It's a mentality. You know what I'm saying? Enough times that people just, you know, just simp when they get into a professional situation. And if you're not thinking that your highest potential, your highest level of cleansedness, man, You know, sometimes those things are or will become a temporary run. You know what I'm saying? People don't check themselves, and the reason I refer to the road a lot, because you're forced to live around these people for a long period of time. If someone doesn't know how to wash their ass correctly, or, you know, and keep their shit right, that becomes fights on the road. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, how many times do you really sit with your mans and be like, yo, man, you know, you got to get your body shit together. You know, you got to get yourself in shape. You got to get yourself, you know, smelling better. You know what I'm saying? Because we associate around each other, and that counts, because the class of your crew, when you move around, you get off your ship, your tour bus, and everybody's on grog. You know, niggas are not going to give you work. This bottom line, it's a simple fucking thing. I don't want to be around nobody 30 days, bro, who I got to tell, you know, yo, man, did you wash up, or did you clean clothes and all of that shit. I do hygiene check, my lord. It's important. It's important. It sound wild, but it's real as fuck.
No, yeah, listen, of course. And there's always, unfortunately, sometimes somebody in the crew that'd be like, yo, damn, son. And here's the thing. You can learn a lot about people. I always say you learn a lot about people when you travel with them, right? And when you stay with them. Like, and I actually I've gained and lost respect for people after I've traveled with them. Like, I'm never fucking with you again. Or, damn, that was a very good experience. You know what I mean? It was everything was on point. Like, again, like if you're in close quarters, sleeping on couches and shit. Yeah, so that's a good point, man, because you learn a lot about people traveling with them. A lot. Especially, you know, for extended periods of time.
Exactly. I want you to remind me, if you're part of my crew, I want you to remind me that I've evolved. You know what I'm saying? So there should be better cuts. If you get dressed to go to church, get dressed to come to work. You coming to work with me, get clean. You know, and you got to be suit and tie, motherfucker, but give me something fresher than what the fuck you can just laying on your couch at your house. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to affect this is not just about negative mental shit. This is about positive, adding to the ship.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? These are things that we're talking about. We're talking about how can we boost the mental situation, avoid the issues. This is how we're talking about it. If you got a camp that's in harmony, that's going to be a peaceful ride for you. You know, rather than everybody feeling each other's personalities and shit like that. You know, one of the points that I have on my page here, bro, that adds to what we're saying is psychological evaluation before you have people around you. You know what I'm saying? And this is not like send your friend to the therapist, but this is more like the team bonding outside of the lab, having conversations, men and women conversations, and really seeing where people's head are, bro, because you can get out of town and then check your man's mentality. Somebody have 2 drinks because the bar is free, and your man's might reach over and smack the bar, smack a bitch on, smack a shorty on the ass. You know what I'm saying? And it's a fight. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if you check the mentality before you leave to say, yo, man, he can't handle being out. You know what I'm saying? Or the sister can't handle 3 drinks or whatever the case may be, because he go into mentalities like in the hood. He's not seeing consumers. He's seeing hoes and bitches, you know, niggas and homies and shit. He's not seeing that, yo, man, we out here doing business. I got to be at my cool and my best.
Right.
You may have somebody bipolar in your camp you don't even know, that's triggered by alcohol, or at the 5th blunt might start tripping. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do evaluations, and cats have been through this and don't know sometimes. The harder the fight. You know what I'm saying? And it's because they didn't check their crew. Before you leave, if you know your crew is solid, like, yo, if I get in a fight, I know he's standing up. I know he's standing up. I know she's standing up. You feel what I'm saying? It's not, you know, damn, I don't know that dude's mentality. You know, we hung out a couple times in the lab. Bro, when you bring people out in your place of business, studio, touring, you know, record label, meetings, whatever the hell you got to do, and you don't know people's mentality, bro, you can get robbed. How many times you don't check your staff and you leave them responsible with your cake and everything, and then they, you know, they flip the switch. So, you know, psychological evaluation is important. And then whatever way you do it, if you choose to do a group therapy situation, or if you feel you have enough team that has the mind enough to dig into people's heart and spirit before you leave, hey, if you paying these people or you having them around your business and your personal folks, your family and your shit, hey, bro, that's a small thing. It's kind of like a prenup.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And the suggestion that I give to a lot of people who have camps, Lord, I say, yo, man, have time to really gel with your camp. You know what I'm saying? If you were playing basketball for a long period of time, the crew has to hang out at one time and say, yo, man, what do you like without the uniform on? What do you like when there's no basketball and no rhyming and all this other thing, man? You know, what do you like as a human being?
Right.
You got to have that evaluation time. So that's one thing that I had on here. And the physical training as well. You know what I'm saying? That time, that gelling time should be like, let's go work out. You know what I'm saying? Let me see how far you can go. Let me see how far you can push yourself. We get into a critical situation. I want to know who I'm with.
Yeah. Right. You don't want somebody huffing and puffing after like walking up the steps. Like, damn, son. Like, if it gets real, like.
Real shit.
Yeah.
Anything can happen on the road. So you protect yourself both physically and mentally. You know what I'm saying? When you do a pre-evaluation of who you're bringing out, when you narrowing down your little 5 team that you want to bring out, you say, yo, man, I spent some time with the guard and, you know, their mind is right. You know, I sat with the goddess and I chopped it up. I think she can handle a critical situation. You know, you don't want to bring a shorty out there and the first time somebody say gun and they scream at the top of their lungs and panic. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be with a dude that hides under the table. If you've trained with them, they know the rhythm of your circle. All right? Everybody's heading toward the door. Get the bags. We're walking out together back to back. You know, you got to have those things
already set up. Fire drill. You know what I mean? You got to have the fire. You do it any other time. You got to, yo, that's a really good point. Not to cut you off, man, but like, I just really echo like what I was thinking, because when I'm out and I'm in a different foreign land somewhere, like whoever I'm with, I'm like, if shit pops off, this is how we're moving. This is where we're going. This is like, if it's a scene, like, okay, we're in a different scene now. All right, this is where we gotta go. Like, you know what I mean? This is so, yeah. And you gotta be with people that's gonna be able to mentally handle it if it pops off, because it can, you know, and not freak out and make your shit worse because they make it worse.
How many times have you heard of these stories and, you know, the bodyguard did this, or one of the entourage? You know, the entourage who ain't got no job. He ain't selling no T-shirts. He ain't doing nothing but standing on stage doing this with you like this, and you trying to bring around the way on the road. You ain't never checked that dude's mentality, bro. You don't know how he handles. You know what I'm saying? He may see 2 or 3 shorties around the way, but when you got 20 of them backstage, you know, want to go after party, want to go this, and you got to, you know, you're supposed to be on the discipline. That discipline is easily broken for somebody who don't have a responsibility in your situation, bro. He ain't got to sleep. He ain't got to be up at whatever o'clock doing no interview. So he can get into the most stuff. Yo, man, you gotta evaluate all of that before you leave. There's absolutely no way you just leave that out in the air, man. So I'm saying with us, psychological evaluation before you leave. A powwow, several of them. Training together before you leave. Let's get to the gym. Everybody meet us here at 7 o'clock. If you can't be there at 7 o'clock on the dot, then I know you miss a plane. Okay? I know you missed a bus. So if it's important to you, it's like, yo, 6:45, somebody sitting in front of the thing like, yo, I got here a little early, man. I didn't want to take no chances with me. Show y'all that I'm trying to be on time. Then you got you a good crew member. Okay? These are the little things that you know. You know what I'm saying, when you're making your final decision. So if you got the whole crew, if y'all come and get a drink with me at the bar, we rolling there 30 deep, then you better get up 6 in the morning to come meet me at the gym, man, and come on and get it on. Straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? That's a good way to weigh your team and not be surprised that, yo, man, damn, it's 7:45. The plane leave 8:30. Where's homie at? Over comfortable, lazy. Because you ain't promote. Yo, man, be up, be on time, be clean when you come around. You know, we'll have a good time. Everybody will have a shot or two. We're not drinking 2 bottles and black it out in the workplace.
Exactly.
So they're learning that discipline too at the lab.
Right.
Okay? If I see you drink 2 bottles or whatever and just wild out in the spot, dog, you think I'm going to bring you on the road?
Right.
You're already saving me a problem.
Right, right.
The psychological evaluation is had, right?
I'm seeing you already wilding out right now. We good. We good.
True and living, my lord. We have the power to check these things ourselves. When we don't do these things, we get surprised. And we end up on the front page news. You know, on the rap special and shit, on the tea time, look what this happened.
Yep.
This dude walked in the car and
Yep.
grabbed a shorty in the tail and shit. Shorty smacked him, pulled a gun out. You know, your man is dead. And, oh man, at the lab, I saw him drink 2 bottles, but I didn't think he would do that on the road. You dumb.
Right? Of course he was going to do it. Of course he was going to do it on the road. Of course.
Basically that. Basically that.
So another point I wanted to get into was this important one to me. This kind of alpha male attitude that we have in hip hop, and particularly men of color, and that have, where, you know, we're not supposed to talk to people. We're not supposed to share our feelings. We're not supposed to be stressed out. We're not supposed to vocalize what we're supposed to stressed out. God forbid we ever shed a tear about anything. and I've been thinking about it. Like I pulled out some lyrics all throughout hip hop. Cats have been talking about this stressed out. Tribe. I really know how it feels to be stressed out. Stressed. They telling you right now. Fucking
word.
INS says, don't know why I chose to smoke cess. I guess that's the time that I'm not depressed. But I'm still depressed. Prodigy. Stress on the brain, delete the motherfucking suicide thing. You know what I'm saying? Shaheem.
Right.
Shaheem said, I'm a walking time bomb. I smoke weed to keep calm. The psychic said I'm a bad So we brothers have been talking about it. And it's like,
right.
But we can't really talk about it. And so I think we need to talk about it.
Indeed so. Now let's take that point. The powwows that we just spoke about. All right? That bonding time with your brothers and sisters in your camp is important, because that's where they do shed the tear. That's where you do know if they were abused and what triggers them when situations happen. That's how you know how to protect your camp. If you got somebody in your camp that went to war and you go to one of these rowdy ass hip hop clubs and 2 shots go off and that big motherfucker turns into a little puppy right quick, those powwows are where you find that shit at. You know, you got to treat people like human beings and not slaves and workers. So those powwows add on to what you're talking about, for you learning your team and having that time to really cipher and learn your motherfucking camp. That's a very important place where you handle that as well.
And for men, yo, I think it's important to understand that, like, you know, you can still be a man. I'm as manly as it fucking gets, but like find, even if it's just your homie to talk to. Like, it's not even like, I mean, we can get into this a little bit later. It's like therapist, no therapist, but even if it's just somebody that you trust, that you can just like be real with. You don't even need a lot of people. My mom always said, keep my circle small. So it's like just a couple of trusted confidants where you can bare your soul. Because my opinion, if you don't have somebody, this life is hard, man. I don't know about you, but life is hard. And if you don't have like some people in your camp that you can just be like, yo, it's hard today, B. Like, fuck. Like,
yeah.
You know,
I agree. You gotta choose your associates and pick your battles wisely, my lord. Right. You know what I'm saying? Especially like how we talking about career and business and then mental health and everything around that. You know, you gotta, you know, the person that is not the main artist, you gotta say, man, are these people somebody that I can sit with and have a conversation with, and they're not doped out of their mind, and they take me serious as a part of what's happening, and not like worker 157 or whatever. You know, you can be hired and still be a groupie. Right. You know what I'm saying? And you never get a place to really vent. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to treat your team like a psychiatrist, but you should be able to have companions and comrades. That's why I traveled with comrades. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't travel outside of, you know, my circle. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I had comrades around me that had been through different wars and different shit with me. You know, as the movement got older, you know, it was less time to spend with recruits that were coming in, but our original shit was family.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? So I said, you know, in my mind, that dude would die for me. You know, even if he, you know, remembered his training or whatever that day, I know he'll take a slap from me until I can get my bearings to get that punch in to knock him down. So as long as you got, you know, that kind of trust in your system, and again, we had constant powwows.
Right.
Constant circles, just talk. No humming, meditation, yoga, no fighting, no combat training, no guns, no nothing. Men and women sitting down having a solid conversation as a family.
Right.
I want to know my people. So you gotta install that level of family when you're doing this thing at some place, even with your administration. You know what I'm saying? They could fake you out too. So you gotta have them invite them to the barbecue.
Exactly.
And say, yo, man, I have the food that you like here, and I got some people that you need to meet. You got to gel with my folks. You just can't be cutting checks and, you know, staying at the distance. You'll be the first person to fuck me.
Right.
Real shit.
No,
yes, sir.
I agree, man. And I just think that, you know, I think a lot of things that were going on that have gone on with a lot of brothers over the years, man, I think could have been worked out had they felt comfortable enough to talk to somebody. And I think, you know, let's keep it on it. We got to be able to feel safe to share as well. Like, and this again goes back to, you know, building camaraderie and stuff like that, because, you know what I mean? If you feel like you're going to get clowned because you know, you sharing some real shit going on in your life, and niggas don't know how to like turn that off for a minute and be like, look at this, like, then it's like, damn, you know what I mean? Then,
yeah.
So I think, you know, also just understanding, you know, that whole thing to a safe space.
Yeah, baby.
What I wanted to get
I agree.
to was some practical solutions, some practical day-to-day things. We touched on a few things, but I'll let you set it off. If you got any things that can, you know, habit changes, whatever, just things that have worked for you, you know.
Well, to add on to what you were saying about the depression, on my page here, I have what I call professional depression. And it's basically having not met your goals and living in an environment of expectation. All right. So you say that, you know, I'm supposed to come out, you know, #1 draft pick of the rap or whatever. That's pressure. All right. Record goes wood instead of gold and platinum. All right. You still in the game. And these expectations off of your failure, you know what I'm saying, create a strange depression around you, because now you got to go by contract and by agreement to say, yo, I got to go on tour and advertise this album if it was a flop or not. All right. That creates a pressure. Now you're performing in an environment that thought you would be up on top and you're at the bottom. Now, the solution to that is having the power to reinvent yourself. You know, having that hard shell like we spoke of in the beginning of the program, like with the internet, they come from every angle or whatever the case may be. You got to recreate that hard shell because something has penetrated to make you feel like you got to yell the stress in your lyrics, or the schedule that you're keeping is keeping you from your family and your normal environment, and you're starting to get homesick and pile up all kind of other mental issues, you know, and it's steadily depressing you. You understand? You got to have the power to go back to your original goals in this thing and say, now that I've dived in from my head to the reality, where's the thin line of where I create this goal that I'm looking, which is your artistry on another plane? How to break that? My thing was to have the reinvention of yourself, or to reposition yourself. You might have thought you were the front MC, and you might have been a bomb A&R, or you might have been a good CEO of a label, or you might have been a good manager of a group. Instead of sitting and saying, you know, how many people that you meet sometimes, you know, in the record industry, it's like they're the A&R, but, you know, you get to know them and they say, yo, this was my demo. Me and my boys used to do whatever. Okay? What happens is that they reposition themselves, and they don't sit with the depression of, damn, I want to be an artist. Damn, I want to do this. And damn, you got to recognize your time on the clock to see if you really have any more time to produce and do these kind of things. So sometimes getting out of that depression is to reinvent yourself in your artistry or to reposition yourself in the game at a different angle to absorb what your goal may be.
A perfect example of that is, to me, the best example of that is Kwame. We did an interview with him, 3 hours. And he said it, he broke it down. He was like, yeah, it wasn't rocking with Kwame no more. And it wasn't just because of Biggie. I mean, the Biggie verse, but that didn't help. But it was like his time as polka dot guy, even and if you go back to his music was dope. It was over though, and even his man said, "Yo, you can't be." Even he was producing. He's like, "Your man said, yo, you can't even be Kwame no more. You got to be K."
Exactly.
That's why he changed it to K1 Million, and like he's responsible for a lot of platinum hits. You know, like
yes, he is, brother. Yes, he is.
A lot of platinum. He wrote up and he wrote Poison. He wrote Ronnie DeVoe's verse in Poison on the cocktail napkin. So he went down and did his thing another way after that.
Correct, and he could have been depressed. Like, yo, I was a #1 R&B artist with people were cutting their hair like me and wearing, distinct styles and shit. He had a distinct style back in the days. It wasn't just polka dots. That dude has some fly shit on.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? They could have put all of the lines that they put behind, these young cats, not the ones that wear the dresses and all that foolishness, but I'm talking about the ones who really style out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Really style out some shit that was like, oh man, those are dope. For cats who was rocking that Kid and Play type of
course.
That style at that time. That wasn't my style. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people fuck with that.
Yeah, and he
could have started all kinds of shit from that platform.
Yeah,
but
he was messed up over it. But he had said, it was a good point he made. He said that he wasn't going to go he had done his entertainment thing for so long that he was like, this is what I got to do. Like, so I got to figure it out because I'm not just going to go work now. Like, I'm going to figure this out and go do it. So, but he said he was messed up. Small, tiny 1-bedroom apartment, but he figured it out. And it was like, good for him. He flipped it. And I always look at him like, damn, like, good for you, man. You know what I mean?
A lot of cats that would have flopped jump to acting. You know what I'm saying? How many times you seen artists, get like, Latifah, a whole new era of women was coming in. What are you going to do? Stick around and try to battle them and go through all of these kind of things? Yo, man, go do some Burt Bacharach. Go do some acting. Whatever. Now her management company is one of the top in the world. It may not have been what they wanted, but it was definitely what they needed in the realms of survival and reaching that goal and extending past that goal.
Right.
So, if you're coming up in the game or you're a veteran in this game, you got to think about, how can I reinvent myself while I would be interesting right now? Where I can hold more than just say buy my download because the industry is not the same. So you got to think like, can I write a film now? Can I, instead of writing a song, you know what I'm saying? Can I manage artists and teach them what, somebody didn't give me professionally? You know what I'm saying? Am I willing to go to the school to get the credentials to say, yo, man, I know exactly about the percentages and the splits and the this and that. I can negotiate a good deal. Those things are sitting around. And cats are still trying to say, yo, I'm still going to get it. I'm still going to get it. It's been 20 years.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
How's that working
in
out?
20 years. Yeah. And that's a depression. That puts you in a strange loop. You start fooling yourself. You're delusional at that point. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to check that, evaluate it, and erase it. Otherwise, you go crazy believing that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Did you have any more like problems, I guess, issues? And then I was going to get into some of the solutions.
Some of the things that I wrote were, and there was only probably one point that I didn't make. Just reflecting off your pages as well. I have something here that I call the hoe syndrome.
The hoe syndrome?
Yeah, hoe syndrome.
Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. This is a good time to take a break. We're gonna I'm gonna save the footage and then we're gonna run it back in 5 minutes because Instagram's gonna shut me down and we're going to go
All right,
back.
let me
Part two, Brother Jay, with the host syndrome. We're discussing mental, physical health, and hip hop. Episode 7, Constant Elevation with Brother Jay and myself, Tamal. We'll be back in like 2 minutes.